everyone, it's author Sandra Wilson and I'm live from the Kindness Kangaroo Library. It's a little bit different today for our story time because we're reading excerpts from a chapter book. So instead of reading the picture book like we usually do and showing you the pictures, instead I'm going to read excerpts from a chapter book because today is National Dog Day and this book is called A Dog's Bucket List. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. The book was written sort of in the mindset of what a dog might be thinking, and so I thought it would be fun for us to celebrate National Dogs Day by trying to put ourselves in the shoes of a dog. So this book, A Dog's Bucket List, is by Karen Olson, but it's told by Nike, who is her dog, and I think it's great to honor our pets with a book, a story that can be inspired by them. It's a great way to remember them, it's a great way to honor them, and so we've had a few books on that have been like that, so this is just one of those. And I will put a link underneath so you can get your own book, because I'm only going to read a few aspects of it, so you get a good idea of what the book is like, and then you can get your own copy as well. Now, I do have an activity at the end because this is a chapter book. This is sort of geared to people that are kids that are a bit older, or maybe even adults, and so I've tried to find some activities that would be more suitable to that age group as well. Alright, so if you're ready, we're going to start A Dog's Bucket List by Karen Olson. So, just to introduce it, the idea was that the dog was abandoned and then found. And so it starts with a very sad story of what happened to the dog at the beginning, and then he started thinking about creating a list of what he would like, and the first thing on his list was to find a loving family. And so it says that it was, he fell asleep, and so this is kind of what he was dreaming about. Through the mist I'm running fast, just for fun of it, jumping from high places, making friends, being brave, just loving my life. In my dreams I carry a big, bright red bucket, along with a list of a bazillion activities I'd like to do. I call it my bucket list. Driving a car, skydiving, racing helicopters. Whoopee! I toss them into my bucket. I love my red bucket. So that's the concept of what the story is about, and throughout it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, skydiving. How is he going to do skydiving? And it talks about all those things that he, all those things he wants to do that he puts in his bucket list, and then how he actually accomplishes those things. So it has, number one on his bucket list was to find a nice family to love him, because he was an abandoned dog. So he does find a nice family to love him, and it does talk about there are other dogs and he's kind of scared of the other dogs. He's not sure if they like him and things like that. So it goes through those things, and I'm not gonna read every chapter. I'm just gonna read some of the parts that I kind of enjoyed myself. So number two on the bucket list was to scare a vet, and that was kind of a funny chapter because the vet scared Nike, so Nike wanted to make sure that he scared the vet, and so he was able to accomplish that. And then number three on the bucket list was be a flying squirrel, and I thought, oh, what that one's about. So this is kind of fun, and I'm going to read the chapter to you. It's not a very long chapter, so it doesn't take very long. There's a few pictures, so I'll show them to you as well, but just listen to how fun this is. I really, really want to be a flying squirrel. They are the coolest things. It would be a blast to feel like I'm flying. Am I being unrealistic to even want to be a flying squirrel? What can I fly from? I may be special, but I can't climb trees. I'm not a cat. When hiking in the mountains once, I scoped out some cliffs, a bit too high. The top of the couch wasn't high enough, although one of the big fur balls was lying on the floor nearby. Imagine his expression if I landed on him. There would probably be some painful consequences if he found me on top of him. After considering other options, I realized I could fly down the steps of my house, all 8 of them. Giggling to myself as I prepared, I put on my flying squirrel wings. Okay, I don't really have wings, but it's fun imagining that I do, really. Ready? The door opened, I slid outside, then as I started to take a step down, I flung out my front legs while giving a huge push with my back legs. My wings fluttered in the air as I flew down the steps, and ta-da! Wow, that was so neat. I have to hand it to my human for being so perceptive. She knew right away what I had done because she exclaimed, "What on earth? Did you always want to be a flying squirrel? Well, yes, obviously. And there's the bucket to say, okay, that's something I put in my bucket and I've been able to do. So then also, be king of the dog diggers was number 4 on the bucket list. And I'm just going to finish by reading this chapter too. Again, just kind of short, but kind of fun to understand what the dog is thinking and what this bucket list is about. I thought of a goal of being king of something would be quite impressive. What should I be king of? I considered various options, all which could be achievable in my estimation. Nike, king of the world. Nike, king of the animal world. Or Nike, king of the mountains. I settled on being Nike, king of the dog diggers. I must say, I've nailed this one no problem. The reason for choosing this kingship was that the furry giants, those are the other dogs that he lives with, enjoy digging even though they're kind of clumsy at it. Their legs are long and hairy, while mine are sleek and beautifully proportioned. I decided to show them I could do big things, even if I was smaller than them. If you came to my place, you'd see a small, bare dirt spots where my humans have tried to hide my practice holes. I gradually moved onto our neighbor's huge field, where I could dig great big holes. You should see all the holes I've dug. I made our neighbor's field look so much prettier. One time, a deer chased me through the field. We tussled on the ground for a few seconds before the deer realized she was dealing with a potential king. I stayed out of the field for a couple months in case any more deer were hiding in the tall weeds, but no scary animals were going to stop me from digging for long. Feeling the soil between my claws, the dirt spewing into the air, was too inviting. I'm thinking of having a sign made, Nike, the king of dog diggers. My best friend Bridget, she's the neighbor's dog, doesn't know how to dig very well. I tried to teach her, but she's pretty hopeless. Instead, she'll stand at the end of the field, jumping up and down, barking, "Dig, Nike, dig!" The neighbor sometimes waves his arms and yells something too. It's awfully friendly of him to cheer me on. Impressing the furry giants and Bridget was all part of becoming a king. This can definitely go into my nice red bucket. So there's so many more chapters as Nike adds to his bucket list, because that was just number 4. So all the different things, chasing big cars, learning to skydive, outrunning a helicopter. So all these different things that's on Nike's bucket list that this book helps you go through. So it's a lot of fun, and it's worth getting a copy for yourself just for a fun read, and kind of thinking of the perspective of how a dog might think. So on the idea as an activity to kind of do to complement this book, you could kind of create a bucket list. And so I had 2 ideas for this. So the first one would be to draw a bucket on a piece of paper, and you see I drew a red bucket because Nike's bucket is red, and then fill this bucket with things that you already have done. And as you accomplish new things, fill it in. So if you've won an award, or if you've got a high score in your game, if you won that last game of Monopoly, all these different things. If you learn to draw, or you learn to play chess, all these different things that you accomplish, you can fill in your bucket. And this is a nice thing to put on the wall and add to, and it kind of gives good encouragement to all the things that you've done. Sometimes we forget all these things we've done, or we don't think we've done much because we haven't actually written down. And when we actually go back and look at all the things we've done, we'll be really impressed with ourselves. So that's kind of a fun way to do it. The other idea that I had was to get a bucket or a jar, because I have this jar, and put ideas in it of things you'd like to do, much like what Nike does. So, not chase a car and things like that, like a dog would do, but what kinds of things would you like to do? Would you like to explore a forest? Would you like to climb a mountain? Would you like to learn to do something? Maybe you'd like to learn to play chess. Maybe you'd like to learn to dance. All these different things that you could just write on a piece of paper and toss into your bucket, into your jar. And then when you're feeling a little bored, pull one of these ideas out. Now, it might not be that you could do that thing right away, but maybe you can kind of create a plan of how you might do that. So if, for example, you want to learn a new dance, could you find something on the internet, or do you know someone that knows that dance that you could work with? So even if it's not doing it right at that, you could create a plan. If you want to go on an airplane ride, is there things that you can discuss with your parents about how to make that happen. Is there a holiday coming up? Is there a chance at a local air field to go in a small airplane? All these different things that you could kind of create a plan as to how you're going to fill that bucket list of ideas. So that's kind of fun as well. So you can create a bucket and fill it with all the wonderful things you've done and keep adding to it, because we're always accomplishing things and we need to make sure we remember those things. Or do the opposite and put the ideas of what you'd like to accomplish in a bucket, and then you can take the ideas and sort of build on them, or even write stories about what that might feel like or what you might do, or from the perspective of a dog like Nikki. So again, the book is The Dog's Bucket List by Karen Olson, and I will put a link underneath. And I hope you enjoyed it today, and I hope you celebrate Dog Day in the best way that you know, either by reading a book, or taking a dog for a walk, or visiting a dog park just to say hey to all the different dogs. Just be careful and practice proper safety around different dogs. Okay, and we'll see you at the next Storytime session. Bye.